Hey guys, welcome back to Independent Land Rover Specialists. We are here with our Discovery that we're going to level up with, and we are busy rebuilding the engine for it. So when we left off, we were waiting for some parts. We've stripped this engine, cleaned it, honed it. We were waiting for some piston rings and bearings. So our piston rings finally came in. We like to use these Hastings rings. So what we're going to do is finish cleaning up these pistons, insert the piston rings on them, and we'll install them in our block, get the cylinder heads on, get this engine built, and we'll get it in the truck. So what we have here is we have 7 built pistons. So these all cleaned up. I've already installed the piston rings on them. I've left one piston. We're going to show you guys how we did that. So these are the old rings that we took out of the piston. We've cleaned these up, but you'll always be left behind with a lot of carbon buildup in these ring lands. So what you do is take an old piston ring that's broken in half, and we just go through here and you'll see the carbon coming out. And then obviously the smaller ring for the top. And then we'll just take a nice soft wire brush and we'll just clean up the rest of the carbon. Alright, so we notice this piston does have a few little nicks on the top. Perhaps something got down in the cylinder, some dirt, or maybe when it was being moved around at some stage got caught, but it hasn't picked up anywhere. The bores are nice and clean, so this is not going to disturb anything. If it went through the area where the piston rings are, or any on the skirt over here, I'd be worried about it. But these are nice and flat, so we've smoothed them off, so I think we'll be good there. Alright, so we're going to start with the oil ring first. In this third groove, we start with the expander ring. And then we're going to put a compression ring on either side. These it doesn't matter which way round we put these. Some rings will say top, or they'll have a little bevel, which we'll show you in a little bit. So that one on there. And I got the compression gap there. It's time for the second compression ring over here. That one does say top. You can also check there is a bevel, but it will be on the instructions of the piston rings as well. So these ones you have to be real careful putting them in because they can break. So just real carefully feed it in the bottom and then just gently work it around. You want to put in, you don't want to scratch or mark the piston at all. And then our top ring over here can go in either way. All right, and there we have it. We have our rod bearings, and these are just standard. You can get these obviously in oversized if your crankshaft was ground previously or now. You want to check the old bearings that came out, see if they say STD for standard or anyway, so STD for standard, which is what these ones are. So we're going to open these up. Now another important thing on your bearing caps over here, make sure to number them. If they're not numbered, they need to stay together because these, once again, are bored. As your main bearing caps are bored together, if you switch these over, the diameter is going to be different. So make sure they stay together. So I want to make sure these surfaces are nice and clean, no burrs. And these have little locating tabs. Do the same on the other side. When we're going to install these, we have an arrow on the top of the crown, and that depicts the front of the engine where the timing chain is. Now these rods, if you notice, are also offset, so there's a bit of an offset on them. Those are designed to have the flat surfaces together, so they will go in like that. So both of these aim to the front of the engine, and then these two together where the flat surfaces are go up to each other. Before we put our piston compressor on, ring compressor, I'm going to oil the rings. Whoa. Guess someone decided to break that for me. So we can put some oil on the rings. Crap. Wow. Broken tool. All right, just put some clean engine oil all over the rings. Also want to make sure we lubricate down inside the gudgeon pin, or the small end bearing they call it. This was the original reason this engine seized up, is because these ran out of oil and it wouldn't turn. And then we have a piston ring compressor. So what this is going to do, we're going to put it on top of our piston, tighten it down. It clamps the rings in together, and that way we can install it into the bore. We'll slide it down into the cylinder. So once again, we got the arrow pointing towards the front of the engine. I'll take a hammer and gently just tap this down, make sure it's nice and true. So we just want to take the end of the hammer, rubber mallet, anything soft, and we just tap the piston in gently, and just like that, it's installed. All right, so we're just going to flip the engine over and finish pushing the piston up. Now when this comes up, make sure that the bearing shell is still nicely located on the locating tab. We're going to push it up until it locates. This one try to come away. Just like that. And then get the cap. Once again, make sure they're matched. If they're numbered or not, keep them together. And these little locating pins marry up together so they go on the same side. Alright, so we are wrapped up with this lower section of this engine. Pistons are in, cranks in, all new bearings, new rings, ready to move on to the cylinder head. So we have these, they've come back from the machine shop, all cleaned, repaired. We have a stud set we're going to put these heads on the next video, get the timing cover on, and then wrap this engine up, get it back in the truck. Thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.